Drunken on my wedding night, I discovered my wife's secret. On the very first night of my marriage, I filed for divorce. The wedding night. Due to overwhelming joy, I drank myself into oblivion. The only thing I vaguely remembered was my wife, Wang Qian, helping me back to our room. After that, I completely lost consciousness. Midnight awakening. In the dead of night, a sudden urge to use the restroom woke me up. Staggering, I made my way there. By the time I returned, my intoxication had faded significantly. However, something felt off. The wedding bed was empty. My bride, Wang Qian, was nowhere to be found. Had she gone to the bathroom? That couldn't be right. I had just come from there. If she had been in the restroom, I would have noticed. What was going on? Panic surged through me as I searched the house. And then, I found her. She was fast asleep in the guest room. It was clear she had also drunk too much. Qian. I attempted to wake her and bring her back to our room. But then, I made a shocking discovery. Beside her was Guiyang, her so-called male best friend. Even worse. Guiyang had done what I, as her husband, should have done. Damn it. My head buzzed as if struck by lightning. Li Liang. Wang Qian clutched the blanket, her eyes filled with panic. I'm sorry. I was drunk and went into the wrong room. Please don't be mad, okay? She hurriedly put on her clothes. Guiyang, equally flustered, scrambled to dress as well. Watching this unfold, fury consumed me. But in the end, I forced myself to stay calm. After all, in rural communities, such scandals were unspeakable. If word got out, it wouldn't just be my reputation ruined, my parents wouldn't be able to face anyone either. Before long, Wang Qian and Guiyang had dressed under my intense gaze. Betrayal and rage. How could you do this to me? I gritted my teeth, glaring at them with murderous intent. Honestly, at that moment, I wanted nothing more than to rip them apart. Before, they had always been careful to maintain a safe distance. Today, since Guiyang lived in the city and had no way to return home after the wedding, I had kindly let him stay. Yet, I never imagined. Li Jiang, I'm sorry. I drank too much. Guiyang's face was filled with guilt. If you're mad, hit me if you want, I deserve it. Qian is innocent. It's all my fault. Bullshit. How dare he act like a victim after taking advantage of the situation? Bastard. I roared, my fists clenched. You're nothing but a worthless piece of trash. Get the hell out. As far away from me as possible. I never want to see you again. At this point, even beating him wouldn't change anything. All right, I'll go. Guiyang nodded solemnly and left. The aftermath. But this wasn't over yet. What do you want to do now? I turned to Wang Qian, my gaze cold and piercing. At the same time, I was contemplating my next move. After all, what had happened tonight was unforgivable. Li Jiang, Tears welled up in Wang Qian's eyes. I'm so sorry. I know this is all my fault, but please don't divorce me. I love you. I need you. Please give me another chance. As she spoke, tears streamed down her face. For some reason, my heart ached at the sight. Thinking back, since the day we met, I had never once caused her such pain. What should I do? Fine. After a long silence, I made my decision. I can give you another chance, but on one condition. If you can fulfill it, I'll pretend none of this ever happened. If you can't, then we divorce. This betrayal had left a deep wound in my heart. Forgiveness would not come easily. Yet, I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't live without Wang Qian. Because I truly loved her. Okay. Wang Qian nodded without hesitation. No matter what your condition is, I'll agree to it. From the look in her eyes, I could tell. She, too, was a victim tonight. And because I loved her deeply, how could I bear to hurt her further? Cut off all contact with Guiyang. I spoke with a stern expression, my tone unwavering. This was my bottom line. An unbreakable one. Okay. Wang Qian bit her lip and agreed. I promise you, I will never have any contact with Guiyang again. Hearing this, I felt slightly relieved. But there was still a lingering discomfort. However, thinking of the years of our relationship, I decided to give her a chance. After all, she hadn't done it on purpose. The next day, I got up early and used work as an excuse to leave for the office. Of course, Wang Qian understood. As long as I saw her, I would be reminded of last night's events. So, she didn't try to stop me. Li Jiang, you're newly married. Why aren't you at home enjoying time with your wife? What are you doing at work? What do you know? Li Jiang is highly dedicated, he puts work first. As soon as I arrived at the office, my colleagues started teasing me. It was understandable. I had a full week of marriage leave. Yet here I was, back at work on the second day. Anyone would find it odd. I didn't respond. I simply smiled faintly and buried myself in work. Perhaps this was the only way to calm my emotions. I worked seriously all day. When it was time to leave, my colleagues rushed out eagerly. I, however, was in no hurry. I was the last to leave the office. Because I truly didn't know how to face Wang Qian. Honey, you're back. When I got home, Wang Qian had prepared a feast. She greeted me warmly, come wash your hands and eat. She was still as gentle and considerate as ever. If only that incident hadn't happened. I thought to myself. Memories of our happy past flashed through my mind. Millimeter. Looking at the table full of dishes, my feelings for her softened a little. After dinner, I lay on the sofa watching TV. Wang Qian cleaned up the kitchen and then returned to the bedroom. Before I knew it, it was already late at night. Yet, I had no intention of going to bed. Because I still didn't know how to face her. Honey, come inside and sleep. At midnight, Wang Qian came to the sofa and gently woke me up. Her tenderness had never changed. But in my heart, she was no longer pure. You go ahead and sleep. I responded coldly, turned over, and closed my eyes. Honestly, it wasn't that I didn't want to go inside. It was just that the pain from that incident still cut too deep. Oh. Wang Qian nodded, disappointment written all over her face as she turned to leave. And yet, as I watched her walk away, my heart ached. After all, I loved her deeply. I knew very well letting go of Wang Qian was impossible for me. Damn it. It was all that bastard Guiyang's fault. But at this point, even if I killed him, it wouldn't change anything. Thinking it over, perhaps it was because of love. I picked up my blanket and returned to the bedroom. Honey. The moment I lay down, Wang Qian wrapped her arms around me. I know you think I'm dirty, but I was really drunk. I'm so sorry. If you don't love me anymore, then let's get a divorce. I knew she was truly heartbroken. After all, this wasn't her fault at all. No. I couldn't let Guiyang's mistake destroy my happiness with Wang Qian. At that moment, the burden in my heart lifted. In an instant, the beast inside me awakened. I pulled Wang Qian into my arms with force. Honey, I love you. After everything was over, Wang Qian lay obediently in my arms. That feeling. No one else could ever give me that. I knew it. Deep in my heart, I had always loved Wang Qian. Yes. I had forgiven her. Completely and utterly forgiven her. The next morning. While I was still in the middle of a dream, Wang Qian had already prepared breakfast. Wife, thank you, I said as I sat at the dining table, looking at her with gratitude. Once this busy period is over, I'll make sure to spend more time with you. At this moment, I regretted going back to work so soon. Millimeter. Wang Qian nodded gently. You have to keep your word. I could tell. She was truly happy to be accepted by me again. I will. I smiled and started eating. After breakfast, I headed to work. That evening. After getting off work, I bought a bouquet of flowers for Wang Qian. She was delighted. That night, we had another deep connection. Perhaps because we were newlyweds. Wang Qian and I were inseparable every day. A month later. Wang Qian started feeling unwell. After a checkup, she was pregnant. This was undoubtedly great news. Wife, quit your job, I said, looking at Wang Qian with concern. From now on, just focus on taking care of the baby. I'll earn the money for us. Honestly, I wanted her to have an easier time. No way. Wang Qian immediately refused. I can't quit. If I keep working, I can help ease the financial burden at home. Otherwise, you'll be exhausted. I'll be fine, don't worry. This. I must have accumulated good karma in my past life to be able to marry such a wonderful woman. All right then, I nodded helplessly. But you must take good care of yourself. Don't overwork, and if you ever feel unwell, stop immediately. Some things you just couldn't be too forceful about. Even though I worried about her, I couldn't control her every move. Millimeter. Wang Qian smiled with happiness. I thought a blissful life was just around the corner. But reality proved I was too naive. That day. It was almost the end of the workday. The sky darkened with thick clouds, and thunder rumbled. It was going to rain. I hurriedly called Wang Qian. Wife, wait for me at your office. I'll come pick you up soon. After all, she was pregnant. If she slipped, the consequences would be unimaginable. No need. Wang Qian rejected me without a second thought. I can manage on my own, don't worry. She was understanding and considerate. Once again, I marveled at my luck in marrying Wang Qian. But even though she said that, I couldn't just leave her alone. So, I shut down my computer and drove to her company. What's going on? As soon as I parked my car, I noticed a couple embracing in front of her office building. I smiled, thinking, young people these days sure are bold. If it were me, I wouldn't have the guts to be so public about it. But soon, my smile froze. Because the woman in that couple, her clothes, were exactly the same as Wang Qian's. Even her figure and height matched Wang Qian's perfectly. A wave of unease surged in my heart. I stared at her, hoping she would turn around. No way, it couldn't be Wang Qian. I kept telling myself that. After all, she was pregnant. There was no way it could be her. A few minutes later, the two finally let go of each other. Then, the woman turned around. Wang Qian. It was really Wang Qian. In an instant, a million curses flashed through my mind. Damn it. But who was that man? He turned around. At that moment, I almost spat out blood from anger. Guiyang. Wang Qian had promised me she would cut ties with Guiyang. Yet now, they were hugging each other. At this moment, I wanted to rush up and teach them both a lesson. But in the end, I held back. After all, they were only hugging. There wasn't any solid evidence of anything worse. If they denied it, I would gain nothing from confronting them now. Thinking back, Wang Qian's family had demanded a bride price of 280,000 yuan. And on our wedding night, she had slept with Guiyang. Suddenly, a terrifying thought flashed through my mind. The baby in Wang Qian's belly. No. I had to find out the truth. If Wang Qian had betrayed me, she wouldn't just be leaving with nothing. Determined, I sat in my car and observed them closely. Then, Guiyang opened an umbrella, wrapped his arm around Wang Qian's waist, and led her to an old, worn-down car. Immediately after, Guiyang gentlemanly opened the car door. Damn. I have to admit, Guiyang really knows how to please girls. Thinking carefully, although I deeply care for Wang Qian, I am not as gentlemanly as Guiyang. Perhaps girls prefer men who are a bit more refined. Soon, the car started. Guiyang drove away. Without hesitation, I immediately followed. If my guess is correct, Guiyang is probably taking Wang Qian out. No wonder. When I offered to pick her up, Wang Qian declined without hesitation. So, she had already made plans. But the direction Guiyang was driving in was toward my home. What's going on? Could it be that I really misunderstood? To clear my doubts, I gently pressed the accelerator and continued following. 10 minutes later, I followed Guiyang to my apartment building. Damn. Guiyang actually brought Wang Qian back home. But even so, it doesn't prove their innocence. After all, Wang Qian promised me she would cut ties with Guiyang. Once the car stopped, Wang Qian didn't get out. Through the car window, I clearly saw Wang Qian and Guiyang were holding each other again. And next, an even more unbearable scene unfolded. Damn it. I trusted her so much. And yet she did something like this. Absolutely shameless. I cursed angrily in my heart. However, I didn't act impulsively. Because impulsiveness wouldn't solve anything, it might even cause more trouble. 10 minutes later, they finally separated. After saying goodbye to Guiyang, Wang Qian reluctantly went upstairs. What made me even angrier? Guiyang stood in the rain, staring at Wang Qian's back in a daze. He didn't leave until she completely disappeared. I gritted my teeth in hatred. But I remained rational. While watching, I recorded everything on video. Since she betrayed me, I wouldn't hold back either. After composing myself, I slowly walked upstairs. Honey, you're back. Wang Qian looked flustered. Why are you home so early today? To be fair, at this time, I would normally be on my way back. But today was different. I came back early because I was worried about her. However, I ended up witnessing something I never wanted to see. I got off work early today. I remained calm, pretending to know nothing. What for dinner? She had just come home. I knew that very well. But to avoid suspicion, I had to act clueless. I just got back. Wang Qian smiled, her tense expression instantly easing. You rest for a bit. I'll cook right away. With that, she didn't even wait for my response before rushing into the kitchen. I couldn't figure it out. Why was Wang Qian doing this? If she liked Guiyang, why did she marry me? Could it be just for the 280,000 yuan dowry? Hiss. Suddenly, a thought flashed through my mind. Before our marriage, for a so-called sense of security, Wang Qian had me add her name to the house deed. Without much thought, I took her to the housing authority and did it. Damn. If this was all part of her plan, it would be terrifying. No way. I can't let this happen. Sitting on the sofa, I carefully thought of a plan. However, if she's truly up to something, she'll slip up sooner or later. So maybe. Honey, dinner's ready. Wang Qian's voice interrupted my thoughts. Honestly, Wang Qian is gentle, diligent, and efficient. In such a short time, she had already prepared a table full of delicious food. If there weren't any of these messy issues, how nice would that be? But some things are beyond my control. I'm coming, I replied with a smile. During dinner, Wang Qian kept putting food on my plate. Her thoughtful actions confused me, making me even more unsure of what she was thinking. Logically speaking, wouldn't a guilty woman turn cold and distant? However, at this very moment, I was absolutely certain. Wang Qian had betrayed me, and the other man was her so-called best friend, Guiyang. Thinking carefully, the more I pondered, the more my heart ached. Because I began to suspect. On our wedding night, she was completely awake. She just didn't expect that I would wake up in the middle of the night. Otherwise, I might still be in the dark. But that no longer mattered. What mattered now was ensuring she left with nothing. Honey, my company is sending me on a business trip for a week. I pretended to be reluctant as I looked at Wang Qian. You must take good care of yourself while I'm away. On the surface, I was showing concern for her. In reality, I was testing her. Just now, I had already decided to give her and Guiyang a chance to be together, so she would expose herself sooner. Only this way could I gather solid evidence. Millimeter. Wang Qian nodded lightly, her face instantly showing reluctance. Take care of yourself too. Finish your work quickly and come back soon. I'll miss you. So damn sweet. What a pity. It was all fake. Millimeter. I nodded and stopped talking. Evening. I pretended to have a deep conversation with her, but she refused, citing physical discomfort. Thinking back to what happened during the day, I made a guess she must have been out enjoying herself and was now afraid I'd find out, which was why she refused me. Of course, I didn't expose her. There was no need. The next day, I left home early and hid near the neighborhood. Soon, Wang Qian left with her bag on her back. Seeing this, I immediately followed her. However, she showed no signs of anything unusual and went straight to the office. But I didn't leave. I crouched in the bushes and continued my watch. I believed I would eventually find evidence. Time flew by, and half a day passed quickly. At noon, Wang Qian finally came out. And I saw. A large hand was wrapped around her waist. Guiyang. Shameless. Had I known what kind of person Wang Qian was earlier, I wouldn't have married her even if I were beaten to death. The two of them chatted and laughed as they walked away. I thought they were just going for lunch and wouldn't do anything out of line. But reality proved I was too naive. Guiyang and Wang Qian went straight to a hotel. I continued to wait. An hour later, Guiyang walked out with his arm still around Wang Qian's waist. At that moment, Wang Qian's face was flushed. It was obvious. They had just finished something unspeakable. I stood in the distance, gritting my teeth, but I could do nothing. Qian. Guiyang suddenly pulled Wang Qian into his arms, a lewd smile on his face. Li Jiang is away on a business trip. Why don't we meet at your place tonight? Bastard. Hearing this, I wanted to rush up and beat him to a pulp. But in the end, I held back. After all, flies don't bite eggs without cracks. The reason Guiyang could succeed was because of Wang Qian. You're so bad. Wang Qian cooed, be careful when you come over tonight, don't let the neighbors see you. No matter what. That was our home. I thought Wang Qian would refuse Guiyang. But I never expected. Soon, the two left the hotel, heading back to the office. Afterward, I went to an electronics store and bought a high-definition surveillance device. Taking advantage of Wang Qian's absence, I snuck home and installed the camera in a hidden spot. Next, I contacted a private investigator to look into Wang Qian and Guiyang. The detective assured me he would have results within 3 days. As for me, I checked into the hotel closest to my home. After dinner, I opened the surveillance app on my phone and carefully observed Wang Qian's movements. At that moment, she was busy in the kitchen. The dining table was already filled with a lavish meal. It was obvious Guiyang was definitely coming over. A few minutes later, there was a knock at the door. You're here. Wang Qian ran happily to open it. Darling, have a seat first. Dinner will be ready soon. That address. Damn, it made my blood boil. I'd rather have you first. Guiyang's voice followed. Be gentle. With Wang Qian's coquettish cry. The two of them appeared on the surveillance footage. At that moment, Guiyang held Wang Qian in his arms, his face full of urgency. Soon, they started their filthy game right on the sofa. Damn it. I cursed and threw my phone aside. Half an hour later, I picked it up again. On the screen, the two of them were lying on the sofa, with Wang Qian nestled in Guiyang's arms. Qian, tell me the truth, has Li Jiang touched you lately? Guiyang looked at Wang Qian seriously, as if she were his woman. Trash. I cursed in my heart. I told him I was pregnant. Wang Qian smiled smugly. Whenever he wants to get intimate, I just say I don't feel well. My body and heart belong only to you. What the hell? Wang Qian wasn't even pregnant. You're so smart. Guiyang's mood lifted instantly. Shameless couple. I made up my mind. I wouldn't let them get away with this. I saved the footage and went to sleep. 3 days later, I received the investigator's report. Guiyang was a gambling addict and had even embezzled company funds. More embarrassingly, Wang Qian wasn't his only lover. The report even contained footage of Guiyang's intimate moment with another woman in a car. Without hesitation, I handed the evidence to the authorities. Then, I prepared the divorce papers and returned home. Honey. Wang Qian looked at me in a panic when she opened the door. Why are you back? Didn't you say you'd be on a business trip for a week? I knew. She was afraid I had found out something. What? Not happy to see me. I glared at her and tossed the divorce papers her way. Let us get divorced. To be honest. At this point. Just looking at her made me sick. WY. Wang Qian looked at me in shock, disbelief written all over her face. Why? I said coldly, do you really need me to spell it out? As I spoke, I played the surveillance footage and handed her my phone. Honey. Just like last time, Wang Qian burst into tears. I was confused for a moment. Please don't divorce me. I promise it won't happen again. The same trick. 1T worked twice. I must have been blind to marry Wang Qian in the first place. Heh. I sneered. A dog can't change its ways. Let us get divorced. You betrayed me, so you must leave with nothing. Also, you must return the 280,000 yuan dowry. At this point, I had no feelings left for her and wouldn't show an ounce of mercy. With that, I turned around to leave. Li Jiang. Just then, Wang Qian called out behind me. I'll divorce you, but I want half the house. Damn it. I finally realized. All she wanted was my house. Dream on. I spat out these words and walked away. Since that was the case, I would let the court handle it. After all, I had already filed for divorce before coming back. I was sure the verdict wouldn't take long. 3 days later, Wu Yang was arrested for embezzlement. Great news. Half a month later, the court ruled that Wang Qian had to leave with nothing and return the 280,000 yuan dowry. Li Jiang, you're ruthless. Outside the court, Wang Qian blocked my way and sneered. We were husband and wife. Don't you think this is too cruel? She didn't feel guilty at all. And she had the audacity to accuse me. Ridiculous. In that case, take a look at this. I sneered and played a video of Gu Yang intimately chatting with another woman, then handed her my phone. Wang Qian's face instantly turned pale. She grabbed my arm, sobbing. Honey, I was wrong. Please give me another chance. To be honest, seeing her like this, I did feel a bit sorry for her. But I couldn't be soft-hearted. Otherwise, the only one who would get hurt in the end would be me. The end.